Hello, Mr. Hildebrand. How are you, doctor?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Thanks for joining me today. The first question I want to ask you is did you receive your ERTC checks?
I did. I did. Yes, they were
Yeah.
very, very healthy checks. So I enjoyed them.
I bet you did. And what about your R&D checks?
I received 3 years of those well before the RTC came out.
So just for my perception as doctors, I put a pretty substantial amount of money back in your pocket that you never even knew you had.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So whenever we first started, I mean, we've been working together. We started your R&D like what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and
Yeah.
then we started your ERTC back in I think it was October or November.
Hmm.
So we've been, you've been a client of mine for about 4 years. When we first started this process, way back when, what did your CPA think about these incentives?
Well, CPAs in general have a skepticism, I guess, of anything, especially tax related,
Yeah,
because they are unfamiliar with a lot of the things that they don't feel comfortable with, I guess. But once my CPA learned about it, he was all full bore. He's good. Everything's fine. It's well defended by you guys, and that's a secondary part of it as well. They want to make sure that if they're filing my taxes, that the information they get is legitimate as well, so that they can defend.
absolutely. Well, we defend our work, and your CPA is defending his work because and they like to have a split of fiduciary responsibilities anyway. So what would you say to any other business owner or dentist out there? Because a lot of dentists or a lot of CPAs or their tax attorneys or professionals or consultants say you don't qualify. So what would you say to these other business owners about these tax incentives?
Well, I would first of all say it's a shame that most of them don't know about these things, and getting the word out is probably one of the hardest things because people do trust their tax attorney, their accountants, and if they're not informing them of these benefits, then they're a little skeptical as well. So I'd say you'd have to be crazy not to file these things. I mean, from the checks that I've received and the benefits that I've received from those, what Jerry does for you is well worth the efforts that they put in to put money in your pocket. I mean, we've all given plenty of money to the government through the years, and we know how they use that money. So, I like getting a check back from the government. It comes in just a single check in it, doesn't have an explanation. I take a picture of it and I send it to Jerry and I say, look at this, look what just came in. So we
Yeah,
all get about that.
absolutely. It's free money.
Yeah.
It's tax incentive. This is how the big companies do to offset their tax liability. I mean, this is just the way the game is played. So what would you say to other business owners about working with ABIS?
Well, I mean, I can't say enough about how easy it's been, and the communication level has been excellent. I mean, I simply contact Jerry anytime I have a question or need information about anything, or really just to check on what the process and where we're at on it. And he's very responsive to me, and everything has gone exactly as planned. Maybe not as far as timing. We'd love to get those checks sooner, but we are dealing with the government, and we know how slow that can be. I mean, go to the post office, go anything that's just government related. It's tough.
So did you ever compare our services to others? To
I
other?
did. I did. I actually had an ERTC quote done by another group, and I just felt I let Jerry do it, and I felt more comfortable with Jerry's in it because of what the backing you get, and not only that, the number higher, which obviously netted more money in my pocket, so that's even a greater benefit. But security is a big part of it as well. You got to feel comfortable working with, because if for whatever reason something happened, you want to make sure somebody's got your back.
Well, one of the big things, and I fight this battle every day, people say, well, Jesus, Jerry, you're really expensive. Your contingency fee is really expensive. And we're not the most expensive, but we're also not the cheapest. But I try to, explain to my, clients that, you get what you pay for in life, just like in, dental work. But there's a lot of these companies, these pop-up companies, I call them, that They have payroll specialists that are amending your tax forms. They don't have E&O. They won't defend their work. They tell clients, oh, the IRS doesn't audit 941 forms. Yes, they do, especially when it comes to tax incentives. We don't make you sign a long-term contract. We'll work with you however we can. But at the end of the day, we walk you through the entire process from beginning to end. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, it's very front to back, easy process. I mean, we have to get data together, obviously, but you have people to do that for you. So I can't say enough about how simple the process was. And to speak to the percent that you pay for this service, the other group that I looked at had a less percent that they were taking out of it, but they also had less benefits. So I netted more in my pocket using Jerry with this group. So,
and you got some more security because we have CPAs, tax incentive CPAs that actually do the work.
It's not just payroll specialist and literally a company that just pops up doing it, or even your account who may not have enough information really to do it correctly and get you the maximum benefit.
Well, there's a whole lot. You learn the difference between us and our competitors by going through the process with them and then going through the process with us. This is not easy to do. This is, a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to amend your 941 forms. That's not the way it works. There's grants, there's, previous credits you've received, there's group health insurance, how you use your PPP. It is a plethora of information that we gather because we want to calculate it correctly. So, well, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Doctor. And I've said this time and time again. We truly love helping business owners recover their overpaid taxes because, my story, Doc. I lost $4.2 to $4.8 million because when I sold my previous business, because my CPA never told me about these. So we love doing what we love doing. We love it whenever our clients send us copies of their checks and says, this is worth a text on the weekend and on my birthday weekend at that. When I got that text, I'm like, yes, yay, Dr. Hildebrand, yay. So I was excited for you. All of your referrals that you've sent us, we appreciate. It's this bucket of money for the ERTC is not going to last very much longer. So all the people that that have business owners that have not filed for the ERTC, they better pull it together quick because the way it's going in this country, this money's going to run dry quick.
Yeah, and dentists typically are fact finders. They have to get so much data to make a decision. But like you said, if you don't make a decision pretty soon, the money will dry up. I mean, the government's going to quit giving out all this money at some point. So you need to get it filed as soon as possible.
And not only that is that it's a free service to find out if you have how much money you have on the table, if you have any at all. So it's worth at least 30 minutes of your time. Would you say that out of all the money I've gotten you, recovered for you, you've spent maybe 2 hours with me?
Yeah. I mean, we spend as much time talking about fun stuff as we do about business.
True. So has it been worth 2 hours of your time for the money that you've received?
Yeah, that's the best paid per hour I think I've ever received.
Excellent. Well, Doc, thanks for joining me today. Go off and make money like you do, and I'm sure we'll talk again sometime soon.
Okay. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank